You know that feeling, right? You wake up and you just can't shake this strange sense that a dream was, well, more than just a dream, almost like it was a little peek into what's coming next. It's a question people have been asking forever, and today we're going to dive into why that happens. Just think about it for a second. Have you ever had that experience, that crazy feeling of déjà vu, where something happens in real life and you swear you've seen this exact scene before in a dream? It is such an uncanny feeling, and that's exactly what we're digging into. Okay, so let's start with a real-world case. Someone has this dream, and it's full of anxiety, right? They're on a bus, a guard checks them, and basically says, "You're not good enough." They miss the entrance, and they're just left with this overwhelming certainty of failure. So just remember those key feelings: judgment, being left out, and failure. Now get this. The very next day, the dreamer goes to a meeting. They're surrounded by younger people, they've got questions ready to go, but the person in charge just completely ignores them. The feeling, it's a perfect match to the dream, isn't it? Being judged, feeling excluded, that same sense of failure. So what on earth is going on here? So how do we even begin to explain this? For basically all of history, we've had two big ideas. It's either a prophecy, a genuine look into the future, or it's just psychology, an echo of our past. But as it turns out, the real answer might be neither one. The ancient view, of course, was that dreams were messages from the gods predicting reality. Like the pharaoh's famous dream about the 7 cows. But then modern psychology came along, and people like Freud flipped it completely. They said, no, reality creates dreams. They're just your brain sorting through the leftovers from your day. And here's the crucial question, because neither of those explanations really captures that powerful, personal feeling of a prophetic dream, does it? It doesn't feel like a random coincidence, but it also doesn't feel like actual magic. There's gotta be a better way to explain how these two things, the dream and the real event, are so deeply connected. And you know what? There is. It's this really elegant new theory called the two-loop resonance model. And this, right here, is the key to the whole mystery. It bridges that gap between ancient myth and modern science just beautifully. So here's the big idea. The model says a dream doesn't actually predict a specific event. Instead, what it does is create an emotional pattern. Think of it like a very specific musical chord. And then later, a real-life event can happen to strike that exact same chord, causing the two to resonate with each other. Okay, so here's how it works in 3 simple steps. First, you've got the inner loop. That's your dream creating an emotional blueprint, right? That pattern of feeling judged and left out. Then, step 2 is the outer loop. Something happens in your waking life that triggers the exact same emotional signature. And finally, step 3, coupling. When those 2 loops vibrate together, they resonate. And that resonance is what our brains interpret as a prophecy. So let's just be crystal clear on this. The big takeaway is that it's not about seeing the future. It's about feeling this powerful echo of an emotional pattern that your mind has already played out. It's emotional resonance. All right, so let's take this model and apply it directly to that case we started with. This is where you can really see how it all clicks into place. And wow, this just lays it out so perfectly. Look at these parallels. The dream's custom skate where they're told, not enough, that's the real-life feeling of their questions being ignored. The dream's crowd of young people directly mirrors the younger audience at the meeting. Even the supporter who was missing in the dream maps right onto the coordinator who wasn't supporting them in real life. The pattern is pretty much identical. So, a great way to think about it is this. The dream didn't predict the specific details. It pre-modeled the emotional geometry of the event. It created the emotional shape of the experience ahead of time. The dream basically built the mold, and the next day's meeting just happened to pour right into it perfectly. And to put all this in context, it's really important to remember what our dreams are doing most of the time. The vast, vast majority of them are just processing memories and are all about ourselves. Our anxieties, our hopes, where we fit in the world, they're fundamentally about self-evaluation. So what about those dreams that come true with literal, factual accuracy? Well, the number is tiny. We're talking 2% or even less. And that really suggests that the powerful feeling of prophecy we get comes from that much more common emotional resonance, not from some super rare psychic gift. So, what does this all mean for you and me? Well, this way of understanding dreams actually gives them a much more interesting and honestly, a much more powerful role in our lives than just being some kind of fortune-telling service. And this really is the bottom line. Your dreams are not a crystal ball. Think of them more like a rehearsal space. They create these emotional lenses that kind of prepare you, or prime you,
to see the world in a certain way. They actually modulate how you perceive the future. And this was the amazing thought the dreamer had right when they woke up, even before the meeting actually happened. They realized that the anxiety, the suffering they were feeling, was coming from the images of failure in their own mind. The dream itself was teaching them something profound about their own inner world. So that's really the question I want to leave you with. The next time you have one of those dreams that feels prophetic, ask yourself this: is it actually showing me the future? Or is it preparing me for the future by shaping how I'm going to feel about it? Thanks for digging into this with me today.